Let's talk about buying super cheap land at a tax auction. When we arrived on the property, one of the very first things we tried to do was determine where the four corners of the property lines actually were so we could delineate it and say, this is ours. Problem was, the only tool we had to do that was our 2012 smartphones with Google Maps, and at the time there was a disclaimer on it that said, location may be incorrect up to 30 meters. And we didn't have the money to have it surveyed. So we did the best we could. As we were searching the property, we came upon this flat area and it looked like somebody had had a camp there. In the middle of this little camp, there was two planks put together like a cross, almost like a headstone. And written on the cross plank was, I think this is on my property. And this is what started the feud known to historians as the Great Property Line Feud of the end of the Mayan calendar. And then we didn't hear about it for years. Until one day I was out of town and the neighbor who didn't live on the property showed up and confronted Cari. He insisted the property line is over here, which was a good 40 feet into our property. There was a big to-do. Cari called me and told me all about it, but by then the guy had left. Fast forward a few years, life was looking quite a bit different. We had just had the twins and a job opportunity came up back in the city that I was raised in. I decided to take it. And we actually moved back down to the city for a couple of years. But once that job was over, we decided the best thing we could possibly do would be to move back out here. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to bullseye some womp rats in my T16. The first thing we noticed is that a bunch of the trees that were on what we thought was our property had no trespassing signs on it, and there were corner markings. We decided, you know what? We do have a little money saved up now. Let's go ahead and get the property surveyed. And wouldn't you know it, we have the survey done, and not only does it move the property line a little bit this way, giving us access to our driveway again, which had been cut off, but it moved it 40 feet into what this person claimed was their property. Needless to say, they did not take this news well. A couple more years go by, and by this time we'd forgotten about the whole thing until one day my dogs are on the top of the hill here and they start signaling that someone's down the hill. So I did what any good off-grid homesteader would do. I picked up a machete and I ran down there. To my surprise, there was a couple down there and they were looking at the property next door. So I approached them after, putting the machete down and asked them what they were doing here. And they said, oh, this property here is up for tax auction and we buy properties and flip them. And I was kind of taken aback because I knew what these people were doing was buying these tax auctioned properties and reselling them to the illegal pot grows that have popped up all over the place around our property. I mean, literally thousands of them. I couldn't let that happen. Cari and I did all the research that we possibly could on tax auctions, and we signed up for an account, put down our deposit. We were determined to acquire that property so that it wouldn't be turned into what all the other properties around us have been turned into. A lot of people ask me what state they should buy property in. The state is less important than the county within the state because they're the ones that are going to be regulating you. Once you've found the county that you want to live in the state you want to live in, you can actually search the tax assessor's site for all of the properties that are going to come up for tax auction in the near future. From that information, you can get the APN number, which will help you to identify where that property is on a map, and you can actually go out and check it out. Some places still do these tax auctions in person with an auctioneer, but the vast majority of counties have moved to an online platform. The one that we found was bidforassets.com. They service counties all over the country, so that's a good place to start. In a lot of cases, once you get to nearing the auction date, you'll have to put a deposit down. If you don't win the property though, you get it back. Our experience was the bidding is like the type where you make the next minimum bid and then the other person that you're in the bidding battle with ends up getting 5 minutes to up your bid. For us, that process went back and forth, making minimum bids every 5 minutes for 7 hours. We get to within $100 of what our max bid was going to be. And the clock started to tick, and it was down to 30 seconds, and then 15 seconds, and then 5 seconds, and then they bid the next $100. We're pretty much maxed out, but we pulled whatever we could together, and we went at it one more time. The clock was ticking, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we got a pop-up saying, "You just won the auction for site number blah, 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 blah." It was sort of unbelievable at that point. We ended up getting it for exactly how much we could possibly put towards it. It was almost like it was meant to be. We were so excited. We had actually pulled off something that I didn't think was possible. And even though we bought this property in 2012, when money was worth something, in April of 2024, we were able to buy this property for almost exactly half what we paid for this all the way back at the end of the Mayan calendar. And I'm gonna take that as a win. That's chalking one up for the good guys. Now, there are things that you need to remember about these auctions. Is one, in the auction that we bought from, there was a 10% auctioneer's fee. So 10% of the total amount that we paid was in addition to what we paid. So we had 3 days to work that out, and it took some creative finance because we were maxed. Now the property next to us is ours. And if it's something you're interested in and have a little bit of money saved up, you can do it too. So be sure to leave any questions that you have in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Let me know if I can be of help, and I'll catch you in the next one.